This video is going to be a film study look at the incredible performance that I think Derrick Barnes turned in the Lions' 20-16 loss to the Bucs at home in Week 2, filling in not admirably, but damn near in a perfect fashion for Marcus Davenport. Oftentimes playing to the boundary as a boundary side outside linebacker. I think Derrick Barnes played 4 or 5 of these snaps I'm going to show you, these reps I'm going to show you. I think his eye discipline is remarkable. His commitment to his read is immediate and unselfish. Selfish and unselfish at the same time, because there's this convergence of the opportunity he had with Marcus Davenport being out, and then the need that the team had. They needed someone to come out there and perform. And in this case, whether you call him a Sam linebacker, whatever, playing to the boundary, sometimes dropping out in coverage, attacking against the run from the first snap of the game onward, Derrick Barnes was a factor. Occasionally in a supporting role, but more often than not at the point of attack on run concepts, limiting the Bucs to shorter gains, 1, 2, and 3 yard gains, which you'll see in this video, but also, and maybe more importantly, getting in passing lanes that Baker Mayfield was attempting to read or look to, such that Mayfield had to hold on to the football a little longer and allowed Aiden Hutchinson to get there. I actually covered that a little bit in the Aiden Hutchinson film study video that I did on Monday. Feel free to check that out if you want to, if you haven't done so already. I'll link it up in the description. Let's get to the film. I think you'll be just as impressed as I am, and if not, it's probably my own limitations in terms of explaining what Derrick Barnes is actually doing, what he's reading on a particular play. This is the first snap of the game. A couple of things to mention here. The Lions are in their base personnel. Barnes, Campbell, and Zaloni, 3 inside linebackers on the field against 11 personnel. Aaron Glenn's done this enough such that it looks like this is a strategy. I think it's viable. Maybe you're dissuading the offense from running the football because you have that 7th obvious defender on the field. And the alignment here is pretty cool. Ball's on the right hash. Barnes is to the field. You have bunch receivers. So what they've done is they've kicked the Mike backer over, Jack Campbell. Essentially here, Barnes is playing nickel defender. That's where a nickel would be lined up. Branch and Carlton Davis III are up to the boundary where the tight end is. I want to talk about the read and what Derrick Barnes is doing. You may have noticed it already. If not, I'll point it out to you again from the All-22. His helmet, his eyes, his face mask are directly focused in on Godwin. Why? I talked about this in one of the previews. A huge part of their game is these quick screens out. They're a really good screen team, they being the Bucs. Once Barnes sees Godwin step back, he is triggered. He is gone, and he has to be. Because if not, then he's going to get a kick-out block by the left tackle, which is Wirfs, who almost gets there. The only reason that Barnes is in on this is because he's so committed to his read, so swift with his reaction, such that the kick-out block, the scheme, doesn't work. Godwin is taking this underneath of what's supposed to be a kick-out block by Wirfs. So Godwin is going to go underneath of it to the top side and kick Barnes out. And what that means is he would block him so Barnes is expanded this way, and Godwin can run underneath of it. Tunnel screen, whatever you want to call it. Barnes is absolutely triggered downhill. Great play. Only a 1-yard gain. Give you the end zone angle. He'll be off screen to our right. This to me is it's a great start, first of all, but for Derrick Barnes, who's put in a position where maybe as far as pass rush goes, it's not fair to him. Clearly, it's a relative weakness of Derrick Barnes' game. Let's do it this way. If Derrick Barnes had the pass rush skills to give you 6, 7, 8 sacks in a season, he'd be on the field like this all game. And when I say like this, he played 94% of the snaps in Sunday's loss to the Bucs. He actually played more snaps against the Rams, but the Rams possessed the ball for longer stretches. So basically, if the Lions defense was on the field on Sunday, Derrick Barnes was out there. This is second possession. Barnes is up to the top side to the field again. Hutchinson is off the field. 12 personnel by the Bucs. Bucky Irvin, rookie running back, run concept into the boundary with Baker Mayfield potentially booting off of it. So Barnes' helmet is here. You will get the end zone angle here in a moment. He's got to hold for a moment. And then when Irvin tries to cut it all the way back, there's only one guy there, and it's Derrick Barnes, tackle for a 2-yard gain. I package these intentionally with run plays first. I'll show pass coverage stuff a little bit later, and then, of course, show his near game-changing play, the pass defense on the 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7 call by the Bucks, with about a little bit less than 1 minute left in the game. Same play, end zone angle. You see him close down. He's always been good at this. He was good at this last year. I feel like now you have this large volume of evidence against the Bucks that Derrick Barnes can provide versatility and multiplicity that, look, Marcus Davenport can't provide that. He can provide the pass rush, and he's really good against the run, but he's not going to drop out and pass like you'll see a little bit here. James Houston IV is a better pass rusher, but that's his specialty. He's not going to be able to do some of the things that Derrick Barnes can do from the standpoint of playing at an inside linebacker, basically a will position now, apexed between the number 2 receiver and the left tackle. If you basically draw a triangle, maybe it's not perfect there, he will be at the apex or the top of that triangle. Motion across by Godwin pulls Barnes down, creating that 7-man front. You don't necessarily get a great view of it here, but when you get the end zone angle, you'll be able to appreciate it a lot, I think. So the tight end, Otten, is coming right to left to kick him out, such that the running back could potentially cut it underneath of that kick out, and he tries to. Barnes is there. It's an attempted cut by Otten, and you'll get a great view of it here from the end zone angle. I appreciate the way he played as a person that coached, inside linebackers, obviously at a way lower level than anything like this. The myriad or multitude, I should say, of skills that he put out there on film on Sunday, I think is remarkable. Zone scheme by the offensive line here. Otten working across. He's going to go low on Barnes, who's forced to sprawl. Gets that left foot back out of there. Barnes trying to run underneath the kick-out block. Now, look, Onwuzurike is there as well. Thought Onwuzurike played a spectacular game. It's a third run tackle. We're only into the second quarter. Moving forward, I package these run and pass together. This is fourth quarter, 2nd and 11 for the Bucks. Obviously, neither team scored in the fourth quarter. The 20-16 score held. He's going to fold inside. He's going up against Wirfs. I mean, he's going up against a really talented, big, and athletic tackle. And Derrick Barnes is able to get involved in plays. I think that this bodes well for the Lions to have this type of depth. Who knows how long Davenport is out? I would add that with Barnes playing the way he did, potentially it allows Marcus Davenport to stay out as long as possible to get completely healthy. Let's transition a little bit. This is going to be a sack. This is by Aiden Hutchinson. This is a sack that I've already shown in the film study video where I covered his 4.5 sacks. 3 times during this game, Baker Mayfield is attempting to throw into the boundary, and Derrick Barnes is in the lane, in the window, such that Baker Mayfield has to hold on to the ball and or pump fake like he does here. Hutchinson has time to win underneath. Baker Mayfield pulling the pin on the grenade. Should be letting go of the football, but Barnes is in the window, has to hold on to it. Ends up being a forced fumble. Hutchinson's first sack of the day. I did cover this a little bit in the Hutchinson video, so I'll talk about this for a moment. He's dropping out of here, and what I like is he's committed to his read. Some guys are A, either lazy, B, selfish with their drop here, or a little bit of both. Not Derrick Barnes. He is focused out here on the receiver, running presumably some type of slant or in-cut. I don't know that necessarily to be sure, but all I know is Baker Mayfield is oriented to throw that football there. And as he's pulling the pin on the grenade, Barnes is still leveraging the route. So what that means is, if it's a fade to the back corner of the end zone, for us, the way we're looking right now, it'd be the bottom right-hand corner, Derrick Barnes could play no role. This, to me, and I don't have the all-22 of this one for whatever reason, it just didn't load up, or I couldn't download it, excuse me. Derrick Barnes is in the window of whatever the route is. We know this because Baker Mayfield's trying to throw the football. He can't, has to hold on to it. Additional to that, now Derrick Barnes has snapped his head looking back at the quarterback. Maybe if the ball is thrown, he doesn't get an interception. But he's going to be in that window such that he can defend the play. A direct correlation, if you ask me, to Aiden Hutchinson's sack on that play and others because of Derrick Barnes' coverage ability. Dropping out as a boundary side outside linebacker. This is second possession after Jared Goff's interception. You've got the tight end and the running back into the boundary, but trips to the field out of 11 personnel. Think about the first time I showed you this formation. The first play I showed you. Barnes was, in their base defense, Barnes was over here. to the field. Recall that it's the motion and the screen to Godwin, where he gets a tackle for a 1-yard gain. Now, out of their nickel front, he's playing outside linebacker, DN, whatever you want to call it, covering the running back out of the backfield, such that Baker Mayfield had to hold on to the football. Anzarike, I think, is unblocked totally. Thought he should have shared the sack with Hutchinson, but they didn't rule it that way. I think it's a brilliant example, not just this play, but the multiplicity that he offers, versatility, because, again, he would have been to the trips if their base defense was on the field. It's 2nd and 10, so they're in their nickel set, and he's down here guarding the running back and doing a good job of it, so much so that Baker Mayfield can't get rid of the football. Maybe you think I'm overstating his impact on those 2 plays, but him peeling off and getting in the passing window, that's an important, I guess, soft skill, team defense, whatever you want to call it. Derrick Barnes doing a great job, I think, throughout this game. The relative weakness, obviously, is, especially going up against a guy like Tristan Wirfs as a left tackle. You're not going to get pass rush wins out of him very often. If he's going to be involved in a successful pass rush, a pressure, quarterback hit, or a sack, it's probably going to be as a part of a stunt, meaning it'll be a switch rush, him long sticking underneath of a defensive tackle inside through the A-gap or crossing face of the center to the other A-gap. Organic pass rush wins are just not going to occur in some of these third down situations. This is a 3rd and 7. Great interception by Brian Branch, who's just reading the quarterback. Additional to that, Kirby Joseph is breaking here on Evans as well. I mean, just a bad example for Baker Mayfield to kind of set in terms of dealing with man free with an underneath safety in the middle of the field. Here we go. It's Branch. Same play, end zone angle. Barnes is obviously to our left. This is not the same play. My apologies. This is actually the stunt. It's a 3rd and 6 in the 3rd quarter. Anzalone was matched up with the tight end. The Bucs are getting away with one here because they're getting a 2-for-1. So there's 2 Lions defenders, and they're accounted for by only 1 blocker because Barnes is rushing, Anzalone's not. Barnes is stunting all the way across here. It actually ends up as a sack for Hutchinson, who wins despite the chip. Baker Mayfield is already going down, I would presume. I thought there was an opportunity for them to score that for Barnes. It really doesn't matter to me who gets the sack. I just want Barnes to get the credit that he deserved for how pristine his effort, his reads, his reactions were on this day. Finally, the last play that I'll choose to highlight. Confusing call, if you ask me, by the Bucs. 45 seconds left in the game, maybe 47. Up 20-16, 3rd and 6. Lions only have 1 timeout. Make them use it. They go with a fake toss and then come back with a slant here to Evans. Kirby Joseph, theoretically, I think, should be leveraging this a little bit more. Not necessarily to get a pick, but to at least defend it. Didn't matter. Derrick Barnes elevates quickly. I know that you're watching this and wishing the same thing that I did, which is that the ball popped up in a manner that he could see it and just go get it. Probably is not able to catch it anyway. The ball's pretty far back there in terms of hitting on the goal line. Spectacular play, if you ask me. Goes down as his lone pass defense. A little bit goofy, I guess some people will call it from the standpoint that he ended up turning around, not knowing where the football is. That's a short-sighted thing that people do now, isolating one play and only one play from a game. Man, I think Derrick Barnes played damn near perfect football. I don't pay attention to ratings services. You guys know that. But I will say this. I'm interested in how he was scored by the various rating services that are out there, the 2 or 3 different entities that attempt to score players in a one-game situation, because he showed so much versatility. He showed so much technique in everything that he did. Made tackles. I think he had 5 tackles, like I said. 1 pit pass defense. Probably no wins as a pass rusher. Oftentimes was dropping into coverage or part of a stunt. A brilliant football game, man, for a guy who is underrated when you think about all of the players that are on that defense. They need guys like Derrick Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, Anzarike, whoever, to play at an exceptionally high level while everyone else is healthy and available. I'm talking about the stars, the guys that are expected to play, extremely well. Brian Branch, Aiden Hutchinson, Anzalone, and so on. This is an example of a guy who played, I don't know, I don't want to say a career game, but man, I could not have a higher opinion of how he went out there and played. This is probably my favorite video to do of the entire week, and I've done a shit ton of them for 3 teams, and this is the one that I hope that I did a good enough job to portray how well he played. It's more than just my words. It's the showing the film, letting you guys see it so you can make observations that perhaps I neglected to make. In perfect position on so many of the plays he's on the field, played 94% of the snaps, had an impact against the run and the pass in terms of coverage against the pass. I've covered it many times. No pass rush wins that I'm aware of, or at least that I saw organically. He'll need to stunt to be effective out there. Let me know if you share my opinion that if Davenport's out for a while, you can, I hesitate to use this word, use this phrase, get away with Barnes being out there on pass rush situations. I would prefer James Houston in fourth if he's healthy from a pass rush standpoint, but it's clear at this point that the coaching staff trusts Derrick Barnes, and they should. And that's coming from someone who is a huge James Houston in fourth fan, and I want nothing more than for him to be able to contribute 6 or 8 or 10 sacks to this team in 2024. But at this point, despite my fandom, I have to say, I don't know how you take Derrick Barnes off the field, no matter who's healthy and available. You guys let me know what you think of my thoughts that I used to describe his play at the end, how highly I value his contribution despite the loss. If you agree with my assertion and then the order of the plays that I chose to try to provide those to you as evidence for how well he performed on Sunday. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study video about Derrick Barnes and how well he played against the Bucs despite the home loss, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.